How's it going, everyone? Want to talk some major PlayStation news in this video? A lot of news pertaining to Xbox titles coming to PlayStation, but that's kind of the world we live in now. But a lot of news circulating about this Oblivion Unreal Engine 5 remake, and it is being noted by Nate the Hate, who has gained a lot of credibility and I think attention in general over the last few months. He noted that the Oblivion remake is set for a reveal in the coming weeks, and a claim that VGC has corroborated with their own sources. Nate claims the game will likely release before June, while sources have told VGC it could arrive as soon as next month. The Oblivion remake is understood to be developed by Virtuos. They have worked on franchises like Call of Duty, Tomb Raider, Dark Souls, BioShock, Battlefield, and Uncharted, and Horizon, and they are also supporting Konami's development of Metal Gear Solid 3. They are more of a support studio. It's really interesting that Oblivion might be going the route of a stealth launch as well, or not necessarily a stealth launch, but an announcement and a release quickly thereafter. Not to say the game was nearly as big. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2 in Unreal Engine 5 recently came out, and that was a stealth drop on Game Pass as well, so kind of interesting they're going with not exactly the same formula if it's announced and then it comes out like a month or two later, but the Unreal Engine 5 remakes seem to have a pretty quick turnaround, and I'm just saying, I am all down for, some of these titles getting Unreal Engine 5 remakes, or some of these classic games getting remakes in general from that PS3 era, or even before that, 360, PS3, and before, those era of games getting a remake, and seemingly, it's not like it's a massive undertaking. I think that makes a lot of sense. I look at a game like a Fallout 3, a Fallout New Vegas, I don't know, you could just go run the gamut of games that a ground-up remake would be incredible. Oblivion's a great one, don't get me wrong, to do a remake for. It's not a game that I have a lot of affinity towards personally. I didn't get super into the Bethesda games until Fallout 3, so when I played Oblivion, it just did not click with me, and I know the casual take. Skyrim is literally one of my favorite games of all time, and that is so the casual opinion, because games like Oblivion, games like Morrowind, they are beloved by a lot of people, but for me, Skyrim is the one that really grabbed me, and Fallout 3, of course, as well, and Fallout New Vegas done by Obsidian. But I am incredibly excited to go back and play through Oblivion in this remake, especially because you are gonna have a variety of quality of life improvements, a fully remade game with Unreal Engine 5, and reworked gameplay systems, stamina, sneaking, blocking, archery, hit reaction, and HUD. Those gameplay systems have been redone. I'm curious as far as what the dev cycle for this game is, and that's why I say I imagine it wasn't obviously as big and as lengthy as, a ground-up new title, and if you can look at some of these games that came out in that PS3 360 era, or even before that, and do a ground-up remake, and it's not a 5-year dev cycle, I think that makes a lot of sense within Unreal Engine 5 and within that framework if you want to shorten that dev cycle, and I think people would be all over a full-on remake of a Fallout 3, of a Fallout New Vegas, and games like that. I'm not saying remake Skyrim, but, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, I think those games would do very, very well, especially because New Vegas, that game isn't accessible whatsoever on the PlayStation 5. Same can be said for Fallout 3, so I think they would do very well, as a remake. But I'm just throwing that out there as an idea. I've also thrown out the idea of New Vegas 2, since Bethesda and Obsidian are under the same umbrella, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But Oblivion, very much excited for that. I would imagine sometime before the summer. And I thought Oblivion, the idea of a stealth launch at the Xbox Summer Showcase, I thought made a lot of sense, but it looks like it's going to be revealed well before then, and it could potentially come out before then. So, man, Microsoft's cooking up a lot of great stuff, and they may, by the end of this year, be the publisher of the year. Thankfully, for PlayStation guys, their games are mostly multi-platform now, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but could you imagine if this was the year where Microsoft still just kept all their games exclusive? I think a lot of people would be running out to buy an Xbox, or at the very least buy a PC, but with PC prices these days, the Xbox would be the route to go. If you had Oblivion remake, if you had, let's say, Ninja Gaiden 4, you had Doom the Dark Ages, you had all of these games as legit exclusives, I think people would be like, bro, I'm going out and buying an Xbox. I need to play a lot of these games. But for those of you that just want to stick to one console, it's the best case scenario, all things considered. And if you're on Xbox, you still get all that value you from Game Pass, so that's great. And speaking of Xbox on PlayStation, it looks like Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is looking at a PlayStation 5 release, and on top of that, it could be in mid-April. This is insane, given the fact that Xbox is also dropping Forza Horizon 5 and Indiana Jones and The Great Circle in April. This is very reminiscent of when Sony started porting games to PC, and they just started dropping games left and right, where you had Spider-Man Miles Morales, Uncharted, The Legacy of Thieves Collection, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure all come out in like the span of, I want to say like a month or something like that. It was crazy, and I feel like you're just going all out too much. I get that these games are so different from one another. Like Forza Horizon 5 is going to target a specific audience, Indiana Jones is going to target a specific audience, and Age of Empires 2 is certainly going to target a specific audience, and maybe there's not that immense amount of crossover across all those games. And then you also look at the fact that Xbox is got a busy 2025. Like, if you're trying to port existing games to PlayStation 5 while also bringing the Dooms of the world and these new games to PlayStation 5, well, it's just gonna be a busy time regardless. Oblivion remake is gonna be an Xbox published game, and that's gonna come out on PlayStation 5, at least you would have to think. And, you know, there might not be an opportunity for a dead period, although that summer period, that July, August, early August at least, that's usually a fairly quiet period, and I think it would be a good time for Microsoft to drop some of their existing titles on PlayStation at that point. And Gears collection is rumored for August, mid-August in particular. So that does make sense. Maybe they could roll out a Hellblade 2 in June or July. I think that would work out pretty well. I just think Hellblade 2 is going to have some problems with its price point. $50 is going to be a hard sell on a delayed release. I think it's a hard sell at any time, but given that it's a delayed release and $50, it's one thing when that game is baked into a subscription service and it's a really well-done game, but $50, I think it's going to be a difficult sell. But Age of Empires 2, I think people have been waiting for that game, and I think people are going to be incredibly excited for it. I think Xbox on PlayStation, man, you look at this lineup this year, it's insanity. And the last question I have remaining is, are we going to get to a point where new day one Xbox titles are coming to PlayStation of existing IPs and new IPs? Because Avowed was an Xbox only title on PC as well, but from a console standpoint, only on Xbox. Gears of War E-Day still not announced for PlayStation 5. Of course, Fable not announced for PlayStation 5. You look at a game like Clockwork Revolution, that's not announced for PlayStation 5, so are they going to be selective with games like that? The existing IPs that were on PlayStation, an Elder Scrolls, a Doom, those games are coming to PlayStation, and some of their existing titles as far as games that came out a while ago are coming out in a delayed release. However, what about the E-Days, the Fables, the Clockwork Revolutions? Those are the games that we're kind of missing right now as far as coming out day one on PlayStation, and I'm curious to see when they're gonna finally go the route of porting those games or announcing that those games are gonna be ported day one, if they are gonna be day one, because that's like the last missing ingredient, I feel, on this Xbox on PlayStation initiative. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of updates. Oblivion remake should be getting revealed here shortly. I think that's gonna do incredibly well. Wouldn't be all too surprised if it's priced at 60 or 70 bucks. $70. Again, if you look at Last of Us Part 1, that game was priced at $70. I wouldn't be all too shocked if Oblivion is priced at $70 as well, especially when you consider a lot of people on Xbox are just gonna play it via Game Pass, so they're gonna try to get as much revenue as possible out of the PlayStation players. If they're gonna charge 60 bucks for Forza Horizon 5 on a 3-year delay, I don't think $70 on Oblivion remake is that crazy, but we'll see how that turns out. Look at Ninja Gaiden Black 2. That launched at $50. These games are getting expensive, and I would say an Oblivion remake is bigger than Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, but that's my 2 cents. And Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is looking to drop on PlayStation 5 in mid-April as well. Gonna be a busy time. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 also coming out in mid-April. Could you imagine if Oblivion comes out next month as well? That would be insanity. I think Oblivion would be better off for May or June. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.